Morgan, we love you, buddy.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. We're going to start off with the national anthem performed by Kyra Duggento and Emma Gardner. Please stand.
It's that tiny man. Where's your mom?
introduce JoAn Canning, Superintendent of Schools, to welcome you to the graduation ceremony of the class of 2016.
Good evening, graduates, family, friends, faculty, staff, and community supporters. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 2016 graduation ceremonies in recognition of our fine Commodore graduates. I'm excited to address you this evening, but I promise my remarks will be brief so that we can move on to the celebration of these amazing young people. As superintendent of schools, I have the distinct honor of being invited from time to speak with students and to witness a variety of ways in which the students demonstrate their learning. This is one of the best parts of my job, better than calling snow days. Sorry about that this year. Over the past year, by attending events, performances, and presentations, I can confidently say that our seniors seem well prepared to take the next step in their lives. I've had the chance to visit many morning meetings where I learned students what they appreciate about being from Vergennes Junior High School. They appreciate the fact that walls and barriers, sometimes associated with belonging to certain social groups, becomes invisible when students participate in music, theater, the arts, and on the with sporting teams. There is a true sense of community amongst our students, and parents, in large part, this is a credit to you. Students also report that they feel supported by faculty and staff. When they experience a problem or a challenge in their lives, there's always at least one adult they can rely on for support and help. Thank you to the faculty for taking this important role seriously. I learned from students who presented speeches, dedication speeches from Mr. Wyckoff's class, that despite daunting personal challenges, many kids have experienced success and are grateful for the support and love that they experience from the adults. Specifically, I heard a story about a young man who learned in high school that he had a learning disability. He worked extremely hard with the support of his teachers and his parents to achieve a goal of attending a college of his choice. Another young girl whose parents' divorce had a strong emotional impact on her, she struggled to stay focused on her happiness and her schoolwork, and is now making plans for the future. Another young man who has not had a consistent place to live and has not been with family support will now be attending college in the fall with significant financial resources dedicated to his success. I'm proud to be connected to a district where it is understood that it takes a village to support student success. I learned that our students have been encouraged and taught to pursue their passion and interests. In Mr. Vanderwert's small business and entrepreneurial class, I heard a business plan presentation by Mike, who wants to start his own business, being a guide for others who share his love for hunting and fishing. After listening to Mike's enthusiastic presentation, I seriously considered buying my own camo clothing and joining him in his hunting expeditions. Last week, Mr. McGuire and I listened to Mrs. Coffey's humanities class presentation from Sophia, Emma, and Nate. I was truly blown away, not only at the high level of research these students had conducted and wrote about, but the way in which they wove in their personal narrative and connected their stories to social justice topics. This was really an impressive demonstration of learning. There are many more examples that I can share with you. You get the picture. That is why I think this is a very impressive class, senior class. And I know you are prepared to make your own decisions and will work to become productive members of our global world. You're only at the beginning of your journey, and there are endless great things to come. So I'd like to leave you with this one quote. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in a direction that you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. You are the guy who'll decide where to go, Dr. Seuss. In closing, I wish you a fond farewell. It has been an honor for me to take a small part in supporting your education. Going forward, I wish you good things to come, and thank you for the opportunity. And now I'd like to invite Xavier Provencher, the salutatorian.
Hello, my name is Xavier Provencher, and I'm here to give the welcome speech. Because I can't just say welcome and be done with it, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about our class. And as sad as this may be for some of us, as it is our last moment together as a class, I know some of you can't wait to get out of here, so I'll make this quick. We spent a good 6 years together, and this class has changed drastically since our first day in middle school. We're all now a little taller than we were, and I guess a little more mature. We've seen many students come and go, and before you now are 72 students who worked their hardest for those 6 years to be here today. We are a class of athletes, artists, musicians, nerds, farmers, singers, and leaders. Because of these differences, there are various times where we didn't agree, such as our debate over our senior prank and senior skip day. However, we are always able to put aside our differences, come together, and get the job done. For our walkathon, we walked the 12 miles from VUHS to the campground in New Haven and raised over $9,000 for the prevention of adolescent depression and suicide. We overcame the nightmare called PBGRs. At Camp Duggento, the class completed many tasks like setting up 2 more sets of bleachers, stone walls for seating, by the fire pit, landscaping, and washing windows, and many more. We are also able to plan a Project GLAD that included not just one, but a few of the ideas that we came up with. We may not be the perfect bunch, but when we finally stop bickering, we are a class that can step up to any challenge. So I'm proud to welcome you to the celebration of the VUHS graduating class of 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. And now please welcome Emma Gardner to the stage.
So, since I am a sucker for a folk tune, I am going to be singing an adaptation of a Bob Dylan song, covered, among others, by the beautiful JoAn. It's a Vietnam War song. I know that we're not all, some of us may ship out to war. Joel Sickles, Gunner, thank you. But I figured that we're all going to go off and try and save the world in our own little way. And so I have adapted some of the words to this song, and enjoy Farewell, Angelina.
I'm pretty loud, so I think.
Space
Josh Newton to the stage for the valedictory address.
I'd like to begin by thanking a variety of people for helping me get to where I am today. First, thank you to all of the teachers and adults that have helped me make decisions or get through particular classes. I'd like to thank Rebecca Coffey specifically. She was my first AP teacher, and she helped me get through two of the most challenging courses I've ever taken, AP US History and AP European History. Thank you to Peter Quinn, coach of the basketball team, and all of the players. You all helped me keep my sanity when I was stressed. The same goes for Dennis West and the rowing team. Thank you to Tammy Johnson and the rest of the guidance department for helping me get through high school successfully, as well as helping me with college decisions. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to all of my friends and family. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. I cannot count the amount of times I've encountered adversity in my life, but every time I did, my family was there to support me. Adversity also happens to be the topic I'd like to speak about today. Throughout our years here at high school, we have all encountered adversity. It could have been stress over homework, a test, a quiz, an exam. It could have been anxiety about a presentation, or even wondering if what you said the other day was weird. No matter what the source, whether it is from school, family, work, sports, or other matters, adversity is a necessary ingredient for success. Take me for an example. I've encountered many challenges throughout my time here in high school, particularly AP courses and the early college program I participated in this year. It's no secret that these are challenging courses. Nobody gets through them easily, and I was no exception. There were many nights where I stayed up late to get homework done, write a paper, study for an exam, etc. I'm sure many of you have had similar situations in the past. Despite this adversity, I continued to work on my schoolwork until it was of very high quality. As a result, I now stand in front of all of you as the valedictorian of the class of 2016. I cannot tell you how good it feels to have that title. I am able to call myself the valedictorian because I worked through the challenges and adversity of my high school life. And I hope that all of you realize that this was not given to me. I had to work very hard for it. In a very similar way, each and every one of you can work for your own success. Whether you are going into the military, entering the workforce, or continuing your education at college, you have the capacity to be successful. However, that success will only come with adversity and hard work. So do not let adversity be a sign of defeat. Instead, make it into a sign of upcoming success. I'd like to end with a quote from Frank A. Clark. If you can find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Before we continue, Pete has given me the honor of making a couple of exciting athletic announcements. At this time, we would like to take a moment to recognize 4 seniors for their outstanding athletic accomplishments during their time here at Vergennes. I would first like to recognize Tyler Crowningshield, who this spring became the first lacrosse player in Vergennes history to record 100 career goals. Tyler finished his career with 149 goals in 4 varsity seasons. Tyler, please step forward and unveil your banner. Pete, is he headed toward the right banner? That one. In all fairness, Pete told me which banner was which. I just forgot to write it down. This past winter was one to remember for our wrestling team, with 4 varsity wrestlers each achieving their 100th career victory. 3 of those individuals will be walking across the stage tonight: Jeb Hodgson, Ethan Reardon, and Ryan Paquin. I would ask these 3 seniors to step forward and unveil their banner. Congratulations, guys. And now our graduation address by Michael Thomas, Vergennes Union High School English teacher, English Department Chair, 2016 Rowland Fellow, and 2016 Morning Meeting Advisor.
Should have just left it where Josh had it before. It would have been right. Wow, this is a lot scarier than I thought it was going to be. Okay. I'm very pleased, but honestly rather intimidated to share the stage tonight besides these extraordinary young women and young men. I would have thought that after 4 long years of listening to me talk on and on, they would be ready for a break, or at least somebody with new stories. To be honest, standing here right now, I can think of no greater challenge than trying to find something meaningful to say about graduation that they have not already said with their achievements and accomplishments. Just look at them, their faces, how they carry themselves. It says it all, really. And I think they deserve another round of applause. The bigger challenge for me is that graduation always comes with mixed emotions. After all, we're celebrating, but especially as teachers, we're also saying goodbye, sending you off into the world. We worry about whether you'll remember the quadratic equation, or Newton's third law of motion, or how it felt when Scout finally meets Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. It feels rather like putting a message in a bottle and watching you drift away from us on the currents, never really knowing where you're going to end up. But the truth is, we're not really worried about you. You're well prepared, and we're proud of you. It's just that we're going to miss you, every one of you. Even if I don't know you personally, I know your face, I know the sound of your laughter in the hallways. Each of you has been an important part of creating this uniquely wonderful community of the UHS. And we're famous for it. Teachers visiting from other districts are always amazed at the positive energy in our building. They always comment on it. And each of you has made that possible. And each of you will be remembered for that. Driving home tonight, and I have a long drive home, I know I'll be choked up the entire time, thinking of what you have meant to me for the past 4 years. Happens every time. And I'm not the only one. Every year, Ed Cook breaks down and bawls like a baby. We have to give him extra hugs until he settles down again. And it's not just the teachers. I'm sure your parents, your families in the audience right now are feeling some of those same mixed emotions. They're so proud of you, but I suspect also a little sad. They've held you in their arms and supported you for so long. It's a little difficult to watch you step down from this stage all on your own and enter adulthood. Look out at them right now, at your families. Look at the pride and the love in their faces. And I think they really deserve a round of applause from you. But it's not just teachers and it's not just families. I know that some of you seniors feel nothing but relief that this is your last day in high school. But I also know that many of you too feel that strange hint of sadness mixed in with the celebration, a bit of mourning with the rejoicing. It's normal, like crying at weddings. I know because I graduated once too, a long time ago. So did your parents. We remember what it feels like. And knowing this and having said that, there is one more story I'd like to leave you with. It's a short one, I promise, but it's one I've never actually told anyone before. Seeing you sitting here on the platform looking out over your community, I can't help but be reminded of a particular place where I used to sit and something I discovered there that changed how I looked at myself and looked at life. I was in my 20s, out of college and into graduate school. I was teaching and researching. Some of the best, most exciting days of my life happened during that period, and also some of the worst. But what I remember most of all was the walk home each day. The campus was up high on a hill with an astounding view out over the village and the lake with green hills in the distance. On particularly happy days, when I'd received some good news or the research was going well, I would park myself on one particular private stone bench and just lose myself in that view for a while. On darker days, days of frustration or sadness, I would do the same, drifting into that distance and finding peace of mind there. That bench became, for me, a kind of sacred place. One evening, long after everyone else had gone home, I received some horrible news. News that left me shocked, shattered, broken. With none of my friends or colleagues at hand, not knowing how to think or how to feel, I made my way by instinct back to that bench and sat there, never more alone, mourning in the gathering dark for a very long time, until I noticed something odd. Along the back of the bench, carved into the stone, were words, lines of words, 4 lines. They'd always been there, but somehow I had never noticed. Standing up, I felt one of those shivers go down my spine as I read. To those who shall sit here mourning, it said. That's me, I thought, almost afraid. I'm in mourning. But the lines continued. To those who shall sit here mourning, to those who shall sit here rejoicing. And again I thought, that's me. How many times had I come to this bench to mourn or to rejoice? The bench was almost a letter written to me, it seemed, but why and to what purpose? And I finished the last 4 lines, or finished the 4 lines. To those who shall sit here mourning, to those who shall sit here rejoicing, sympathy and greetings, so we have done in our time. Sympathy and greetings, so we have done in our time. And suddenly, I was no longer alone. Someone else had sat here before me, felt what I felt, and reached out to affirm our shared experience. A new sense of calm suddenly began to take hold in my heart. Below those lines were sets of initials, initials I recognized, the founder of the university and his wife. Over a century before, they had come to this very spot, after every significant moment of their lives, sad or happy, to mourn and to rejoice. So we have done in our time, they said. And they set up this bench 100 years before with this message for those they imagined would also come in the future. I was later to learn that I have shared that bench with hundreds, even thousands of individuals who had found their way to the same sacred spot over the years, each thinking they were alone, each discovering instead that they were part of a common humanity. So we have done in our time. I can think of no clearer expression of the human spirit than this imaginative leap, this reaching out across distance and time, not just to strangers, but to people who wouldn't even be born for 100 years, simply to say, we know, we felt that way too. and to offer them a seat, and to imagine sitting next to them in silence, sharing their grief and their joy. That is why we gather together in ceremonies such as this, as a community, year after year for generations, not just to celebrate, but also to reaffirm that vital human connection, to share of ourselves with each other, to support each other. We are with you now on this stage, feeling what you feel. So we have done in our time. And next year, no matter where you are, we'll be with you still. And in 5, 10, or 20 years, if not physically, then at least in hearts and minds. So, class of 2016, these are my final words. I would like you to look out again at the beautiful view before you now. Your families, teachers, friends, and neighbors, and reflect for a moment on these deep bonds that bind us all together. If you can seize hold of the powerful connections in this room right now and carry them forward into adulthood, and then pass them on to others in your future, I promise you will face every challenge well, and you will live every joy that much more deeply. So, congratulations, and thank you for all that you've done here at VUHS.
On behalf of the class of 2016, I'm pleased to present you with this gift of appreciation. And now the presentation of diplomas. Joining me on the stage is Karina Vorsteveld, president of the senior class, who will be announcing graduate names. JoAn Canning, superintendent of schools, and Lori Childers, Vergennes Union High School board chair. Oh, I gotta get the list.
This is good, yeah. Hey everyone. Before I actually announce everybody's names, I'd like you all to kind of look around at the decorations for a quick minute. We had a fabulous group of parents that went above and beyond and made this gym look fabulous. I already said that, but whatever. Anyways, so a quick shout out and a huge thank you to the parents and the teachers who put just an extraordinary amount of time into decorating this gym. Thanks. Okay. Brittany T. Aldrich. Felicia Armel. Tamara Lynn Onchman. Levi Baldwin. Jesse Daniel Barnes. Naomi Lee Bean. Jacob A. Birchmore. Bailey Yvette Bissonette. Dylan Ross Bugor. Lathrop Brownell. Grace A. Chamberlain. Brock Raymond Clark. Kelsey Morgan Coleman. Zachary Como. Justin Connor. Bradley Correa. Haley Virginia Cray. Tyler J. Crowningshield. Brevin Cushman. Quinlan C. DeAndrea. Joshua Dom. Morgan D. Delorme. Kyle E. Dow. Kyra Catherine Duggento. John Duke. Jack E. Eisenhower. Tasia Fish. Jamie Fulcher. Aaron Scott Gaines. Emma Rose Gardner. Brianna P. Gibo. Edward William Haskell. Jeb Daniel Hodgson. Eleanor K. Hubbard. Julia Brooke Johnson. Kyra Marie Johnson. Tammy Marisa Johnson. Tyler Capez. Crystal Marie King. Alex James Crumry. Emily Ray Lelumiere. Joshua Leon Lorraine. Anissa Martin. Emily P. Martin. Megan Kayla Martin. Hunter W. Mashak. Alyssa M.T. McClay. Tyrell L. Montani. Silas Anthony Mullen. Jesse Joseph Neri. Joshua Newton. Cody Palmer. Ryan Lee Paquin. Sarah Brooke Poyer Thayer. Xavier Provencher. Paige Lynn Cannell. Jordan M. Racine. Ethan M. Reardon. Nathan Rowell. Michael E. Safford III. Natalie and Nicolette Sally. Ian Shalleck. Joshua M. Sickles. Gunnar Thomas William Sonwalt. Nicole K. Stearns. Sarah Ann Stearns. Bradley J. Sturdivant. Karina A. Tart. Kimberly Terry. Dustin H. Tierney. Shauna Louise Vanderway. Troy Hendrick Verberg. Brett Joseph Woods.
Karina Antje Vorsteveld. Pretty much. Yeah. Thank you. This concludes the awarding of the diplomas. Please welcome Kyra Duggento, third honors recipient, to the podium. Kyra will issue the challenge to the class of 2017.
Okay. Hello all, and thank you for being here to witness this magical and unforgettable moment for the graduating class sitting before you. Unlike the other speakers tonight, my focus is not on my fellow classmates. I stand at this podium to pose the challenge to the following students, the class of 2017. If there is one thing I have learned in my time at Vergennes, it is the power and impact of words. And now it comes down to me to voice a piece of advice to you all that you will carry with you for at least the next year, if not the rest of your lives. There are so many things I can tell you, or rather challenge you to do. Beat deadlines, keep an open mind as you begin to think about your future, be organized, the list goes on. These things are all important, of course, but tonight I want to pose something a little more difficult than marking dates in a calendar or being experimental as you approach college, trade school, or whatever your other endeavors are. I believe this is something beyond the individual. It's beneficial to your school community as a whole. As I'm sure you all know, this class contains some pretty avid Harry Potter fans, myself included, and I think it appropriate to pull a quote from Albus Dumbledore, our beloved headmaster of the school we all wish we had been accepted to. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, the most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting wounds and remedying it. Interestingly enough, this statement comes from the final installment of the Harry Potter series, mimicking how this year is coming to a close for us seniors and how next year will be the finale of your high school career. That's not necessarily the point of it, though. For you all, this next year is a big deal, and you're going to need a lot of magic to get through it. By magic, of course, I mean the flick of the wand stuff, because who doesn't need that? But more so, the words aspect. It is important to understand the weight of your words in such a sensitive and stressful time. As for how this plays into the challenge, it's quite simple. Be nice to each other. Be kind, encouraging, understanding, and supportive. The year that lies in front of you is not an easy one. There will be a lot of discovering who you are and what you want out of life, and I'm not going to stand here and lie to you, the workload is not a pleasant one. Between writing college and scholarship essays, maintaining a part-time or even full-time job, sports, the musical, homework, and whatever else ends up on your plate, the last thing you should have to worry about is someone being unkind. What I'm trying to address are the small comments about how someone is progressing in school or what kind of college or future decision they make that you may not agree with, or even the decisions you try to make as a class. As far as the latter goes, I hope you understand that there will be students who care deeply about your class and want you all to have an amazing final year, and there will be students who just want to leave. What I hope comes out of this is you can find some sort of balance between those two perspectives, and that will please everyone. Be willing to communicate and willing to compromise. At the same time, don't insult ideas or people because you don't agree with them or if what is said doesn't apply to you. I know this term is overused, but constructive criticism, when done correctly, is a good thing. Be polite, be considerate, act as a whole. I want you all to have a great final year at Vergennes High School and be ready to move on with your heads held high because your family and peers encouraged you to do so. You all have so much potential. And as a student who owes a lot to the love and support she received from many of her classmates, I challenge every student in the class of 2017 to help each classmate to reach this full potential. Enjoy this last year. I wish you all the best in your future decisions. All I ask is that you remember this. All of the spells you cast, or words you say if you really want to be literal, have an impact. Leave a good impression on this school and on each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyra. And now the moment these students have been waiting 13 years for. Seniors, please slide your tassels to the left side. No, not yet. Ready? It's my great pleasure to present to you the graduates of the class of 2016. Let's send them on their way in style.